The path to the summit. The dense morning fog rolled across the valley, cloaking the world in a veil of mystery. Lily stood at the base of the mountain, staring up at the path ahead. For years, she had heard tales of the summit, where people who had climbed to the top found something more than a breathtaking view. They found clarity, peace, and a deeper understanding of themselves. But the climb wasn't easy, and many never made it. Lily had arrived here after months of feeling lost in her life, trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and regret. Her heart had been weighed down by the belief that she wasn't good enough, that she'd never amount to anything, and that no matter how hard she tried, she was destined to fail. But there was something about this mountain, this journey, that called to her. Perhaps she, too, could find the answers she had been searching for. With a deep breath, Lily began her ascent. The first stretch of the path was gentle, winding through lush trees and soft earth. Birds sang overhead, their melodies light and encouraging, as if they believed in her when she couldn't fully believe in herself. After an hour, the path became steeper, rocks jutting out and challenging her footing. Her legs began to burn, and beads of sweat formed on her forehead. She paused to catch her breath, glancing back down the way she had come. It was tempting to turn around, to retreat back into the safety of the valley where things were familiar and comfortable, even if they weren't fulfilling. Just then, she noticed a figure sitting on a large rock not far ahead. It was an old man, his eyes closed, his face serene, as though the weight of the world hadn't touched him in years. Intrigued, Lily approached cautiously. "Good morning," the man said, his eyes still closed, as though he had sensed her presence. "Good morning," Lily replied, hesitating before sitting beside him. "Are you climbing to the summit?" The man opened his eyes, revealing a depth in them that seemed to reflect the mountain itself. "I have been to the summit many times," he said quietly, "but today, I'm resting." "The path teaches you something new with each climb." Lily tilted her head, unsure of what he meant. "What do you find at the summit?" The old man smiled, a gentle expression that radiated kindness. "What you find depends on what you seek. Many people come looking for answers, clarity, or even escape from their lives. But what they often discover is not what they expect." Lily's brow furrowed. "I don't understand." "The summit," he said, "is not a place where you find the answers to all your questions. It is a place where you realize that the answers were within you all along." Lily frowned. "But how can I have the answers when I feel so lost? I've been searching for so long, and all I've found is confusion." The old man chuckled softly, his laughter like a warm breeze. "The confusion you feel is not because you are lost, but because you are afraid of trusting yourself. You have been taught to doubt your instincts, to silence your inner voice. But the mountain, it helps you listen again." He gestured toward the path ahead. "Keep climbing, and listen, not to the world around you, but to the world within you. The mountain is a mirror. It shows you what you need to see, if you're willing to look." Lily didn't fully understand, but something about his words struck a chord deep within her. She stood up, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "Thank you," she said, bowing her head slightly in gratitude. The old man nodded and closed his eyes again, returning to his silent meditation. Lily resumed her climb, each step now heavier but filled with intention. The terrain grew more challenging, rocks became sharper, the air thinner, and her muscles ached with fatigue. But with each step, she remembered the old man's words, "The mountain is a mirror." As she climbed, memories began to surface, moments from her past that she had tried to bury. The time she had failed a big project at work and felt like a complete failure. The argument she had with her best friend, one that had left a rift between them that she didn't know how to bridge. The voice of her inner critic, always telling her she wasn't good enough. But with each memory came a new realization. The failure at work hadn't defined her, it had taught her resilience. The argument with her friend wasn't just about the words spoken, but about her fear of vulnerability. And the inner critic, that voice wasn't her true self. It was a reflection of her fears, not her worth. Suddenly, she stumbled, her foot catching on a loose rock. She fell to her knees, her palms scraping against the rough ground. For a moment, she felt defeated, the pain in her body echoing the emotional pain she had carried for so long. But then, she remembered the old man's words, "Listen to the world within you." She closed her eyes and breathed deeply. The summit was near, but she realized now that it wasn't about reaching the top. The climb itself was the journey. The struggles, the pain, the doubt, they were all part of it. And in facing them, she was finding her strength. With renewed determination, Lily stood up. Her legs trembled, but she kept moving forward. Step by step, breath by breath, she climbed until, at last, she reached the summit. The view was breathtaking. The clouds parted, revealing a panorama of valleys, forests, and rivers that stretched out as far as the eye could see. But more than the view, what took her breath away was the feeling inside her, the quiet, calm certainty that she had found something far more valuable than she ever expected. She had found herself. As the wind whispered across the summit, Lily smiled. The mountain had shown her the way, but the journey had been hers all along.